I was acting since I was in the fourth standard, doing ads and just like that, because I had a very cute face. And
I didn't even know if I'd be able to become an actor, but I wanted to be part of that place. Either as a lighting person or a director or writer or whatever. I just wanted to be part of that.
First major film that I was to do for a director called Money Call. I was advised by everyone who called themselves my well-wisher not to do a film with him because they said he'll ruin your career. He's not an actor's director, and if you want to get an award for acting and be well known and celebrated, these are the other directors you should work with, not him. By working in an industry where name, fame and glamour was very important, and these are the three things that I never chased.
We don't come from a very privileged background. We don't have like whatever directors and producers who we've grown up with, So this is the only way I can showcase that there is more to me than just, being a funny and nice person, because there's only so much, after a few years, I'm not going to look the same. And there's going to be a younger and funnier guy who'll come and who'll start playing those parts. So if I'm only doing one kind of roles, I'm going to vanish in some time.
It wasn't easy. Like, my father and I didn't talk for like 3 years while I was at National School of Drama. Poor chap. He was so worried.
To other people, someone might be successful, but I will never know what that woman went through to get to that success.
Yeah.
Just to know that not everyone has it easy in itself is comforting, because none of us want to, be the only one in a bad situation.
The three artists that I'm sitting with today have a name that whenever they are associated with any project, the credibility of it automatically and obviously increases. And I use the term artists because I don't think just calling them actors kind of encapsulates the depth of work and the kind of craft, the speciality in it that they kind of possess. So today it's an extreme privilege for me to be sitting in the company of Mita Vasisht, Sumeet Vyas and Regina Cassandra. Firstly, all of you, welcome to Bollywood Bubble.
Thank you
so much.
And I have to say, like, Jaanbaaz Hindustan Ke might be the name of the show, but I feel like that kind of encapsulates the kind of work that you have done, the kind of mastery you have shown in your craft till now in your career. I would like to start by asking all three of you that what's the most Jaanbaaz decision that you think you have taken in your career?
I think in the beginning of my career itself, I was acting since I was in the fourth standard, doing ads and just like that, because I had a very cute face. And
You still do.
but that's exactly what it was back then. You're a bubbly kid, and I wasn't shy. I was never shy in front of the camera. I think that was a very natural thing. I loved talking. I loved doing my thing, and I fit the bill basically.
Yeah.
But then, that's just when you're a kid, and when you grow older, then you have to make these adult decisions of career and all of that. And that's in 2011, when I just completed my bachelor's. I was getting offers to do films. And that was the moment when I had to, tell myself that, okay, I've studied for so long, and now because I'm getting these opportunities, let me try, let me go do a film, and then if they write me off, then I'll just go back and I'll probably do, psychology and complete my studies, which didn't happen because I didn't know. I mean, I was quite innocent, naive, and I had no knowledge about the industry. I didn't know how it would just suck you in. And somewhere in between getting sucked into that and having to also make it my decision to do it, I think that was probably one of the Jaanbaaz things to do.
Yeah. Sumeet, what about you?
I think to become an actor would have been the most Jaanbaaz thing I've done. I wasn't very good at studies, and as a 16-year-old, 17-year-old, I was pretty much all over the place. And then finally, I found a job at an editing studio, and I spent a year working there, and it looked like, okay, finally he's got some job. तो मतलब भूखा तो नहीं मरेगा, कुछ कमा खा लेगा. And I went to watch a play, and it completely blew me. The experience of watching the play, and I saw artists performing, singing, and owning the stage, and that very day I made up my mind that I'm going to quit this job, the only decent thing that has happened to me. so far, and I'm going to become an actor. I just wanted to be in that space. I didn't even know if I'd be able to become an actor, but I wanted to be part of that place. You know, either as a lighting person or a director or writer or whatever. I just wanted to be part of that. So I just dived right in, you know, knowing nothing about it.
But according to you, what is the most bravest thing that you have done in your career?
In terms of the career,
Yeah.
it's to work with. It's first in terms of career. I'm talking, not the decision made to become an actress. So in terms of the career, yes, my first major film that I was to do for a director called Money Call, I was advised by everyone who called themselves my well-wisher not to do a film with him because they said he'll ruin your career. He's not an actor's director. And if you want to get an award for acting and be well known and celebrated, these are the other directors you should work with, not him. But I chose to work with him as my, my second major film. The first one was a short film, but I chose to work with him. So in some ways, that is the beginning of how I have always treated my career, not as something that's a business, but as something that is a calling, as something that is almost a part of my spirit, where I feel that whenever I try to make material out of it, material use out of it, I get one solid kick from the universe on my butt. Right then, it's like there's no afterlife ki abhi bura kiya to baad mein mil jayega. Right then, things, don't work out for me. So I think my very first moves, I won't even say moves, my first decisions were all based by working in an industry where name, fame, and glamour was very important. And these are the three things that I never chased at all. And made the decisions which were actually supposed to be very detrimental for these, but
Yeah, and one thing you said in your answer that people told you that if you want to get awards,
yes,
you shouldn't work with him. But I feel like there's a category of actors, artists, I would say perhaps, which you don't associate with. They need an award to be recognized for their work, and I feel like all three of you kind of fit into that category because the work that you all do, it's beyond that kind of recognition. It's about the perception of the audience that comes with it. And Regina, I have to say, like, this is the first time you're donning the uniform. You have done, you have been a Air Force pilot before. You have done other roles before as well. What is it about being playing a uniformed officer that pulls you towards it? And how has playing that kind of discipline that comes with it changed your kind of perspective towards life and your kind of outlook towards how you lead your life?
One is also knowing the gravity of a person's job.
Yeah.
It's not easy at all. We all do know that these are people who put their lives on the line for their country. So there's a staunch patriotism that comes with the job, and that is something I have over the years grown to understand and grown to like as well. I think over the years I've become a more patriotic person, and things like this do add to it, because it's only when I play a character do I even dive into understanding the depths of that character and to wear the uniform. And it's so beautiful that every uniform, when you don it, there's a certain sense of like pride, and you take yourself more importantly. There's a certain sense that just goes up your spine and you become erect. There's no one needs to do anything, because now you want to give that importance and the importance it deserves. That uniform, it commands a lot of respect, and to just understand the nuances of it itself, to understand how important the job is. I think all of that comes through having to do this. It's not the first time I've donned the uniform, for sure. And to be able to play different officers and that, I think I'm so blessed to be able to do it.
But for Sumeet, like, not to take away with any of the work that you have done, but usually the parts that come to you have a little comic element to it. They are used as a relief. But when you get parts like these where you get to show the different shades of you, you get to show your intensity, does it come as a relief for you? And how important does it become when filmmakers kind of see that side of you instead of seeing what the normal facade is around?
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, it's also a slightly conscious move to try and sort of explore uh, another kind of performance.
Hmm.
And I mean, we don't come from a very privileged background. We don't have like whatever directors and producers who we've grown up with. Uh, so this is the only way I can showcase that there is more to me than just being a funny and nice person, because there's only so much that I can do playing just that sort of a character.
Mm.
After a few years, I'm not going to look the same, and there's going to be a younger and funnier guy who'll come and who'll start playing those parts. So if I'm only doing one kind of roles, I'm going to vanish in some time, and I'll also I get bored of it beyond a point. I have to have fun with it. I love doing comedy. It's something that comes uh, naturally to me. Not comedy, but like life does a lot of comedy around me. Uh, but it's very important to explore more as an artist. It's important to be uncomfortable, because only then you'll learn something new, and you'll sort of you'll grow as an artist.
And I have to say, like you also mentioned, and I was also reading about it, that people kind of try to dissuade you from the choices that you made initially.
Yes.
But you were very headstrong about what eventually you wanted to do.
Yes.
You might have heard them at that time, but eventually you decided what you wanted to do. Today we celebrate such women. But at that time, when you were kind of starting out in the initial phase, to be that kind of headstrong, did you ever kind of doubted yourself that, am I doing the right thing by taking a stand for my own, or should I kind
No,
of
in
go
fact,
with
it's so
the flow?
strange because when you're younger and your top story, this motherboard, is less cluttered,
Yeah.
you are so clear. There's
Mm.
such a deep connect between your heart and your mind.
Mm.
It's so clear.
Yeah.
It's when we get older that the mind takes over and we start cross-examining every decision we make.
Yeah.
But I think it wasn't easy. Like my father and I didn't talk for like 3 years while I was at National School of Drama. Poor chap.
Mm.
He was so worried because I had chosen in 1984, when you decide to become an actress and you finish your MA in English and then you go into study drama. For him, it was like, you are consigning your life to the gutter. That was his exact words. Poor chap. He was so petrified, his daughter. And it was a world where there was no television. You only had Doordarshan and you had Krishi Darshan and all. By the time I graduated from NSD, the first serials had happened.
Mm.
I think, when you choose, so I ignored all the voices because for me it was that this is it. My mother told me, don't listen to anybody, listen to your inner voice. Don't listen even to me, she said. And I don't know what that was. I can't explain what that voice was which said, no, this is the path and this is what you have to do for the rest of your life. And there was such a great sense of belonging. I have to tell you, when I was a kid, I hated people. I hated the world. I would go to New Year parties and sit in a corner and start crying. Even though we didn't do much, we didn't even drink beer. Those parties were so innocent. But for some reason, the world just felt all wrong. And I didn't enjoy, to a great extent. We used to go hiking, trekking, sailing. I was doing all of that. But this whole business of, and your 16, 17-year-old first boyfriend and all that. But for some reason, holding hands was one big thing. But for some reason, when I finally went on stage after my college to perform to an audience, and there was this connect, like Avatar mein hai na, wo aisa connect hota
Yeah.
So when I was on stage, there were 600 people in front of me. I had just had a bad accident while sailing, so I'd been in hospital for 2 weeks. So all the drips had been taken out and I'd been put on stage, please come back and do the show. So I was like standing there, like barely able to stand. It was Tennessee Williams' Glass Menagerie. It's a very delicate character. And when I stood on stage, I suddenly felt like the world makes sense. This is the world. And in that 1 hour 2 hours on stage, 2.5 hours, I felt like there were these avatar-like tentacles coming out from every single person in the audience. And I had one coming out from every pore of mine. And we were connecting like this. There was a fusion.
And Regina, when we say strong women, you are the modern personification of it, I'll say. But how important and influential does the role of people like her, or maybe the names that come to mind for me is like people like Neena Gupta ma'am, or maybe Sheba Chadda ma'am, who kind of took a stand for themselves in making decisions of their career, become influential and instrumental in you helping to take a stand for yourself in this industry at today's time?
Honestly, Akash, I feel like everyone has their own story. and as influential and as inspiring anyone could be, I think it's very intrinsic.
Yeah.
Absolutely, I agree.
And it has to come from within. So you make up your mind of, and this whole inspiring thing, yes, I mean, you might inspire other people, you might have a connect with other people, other people might look up to you, but no one can see your story for you, for like how you see it. To other people, someone might be successful, but I will never know what that woman went through to get to that success.
Yeah.
I might want to be as successful as that person, but do I actually know what happened to that person? And how much of it do they show the world? So for me, it has always, and with no disrespect as such to anyone, I look up to a lot of people, even Mita ma'am also. I love listening to her story. She's got so many anecdotes to listen to, and it's very inspiring in a way. And you take that and make it your own. Just to know that not everyone has it easy in itself is comforting, because none of us want to be the only one in a bad situation, right? When you're two people in a bad situation, you somehow feel a sense of, okay, fine, at least there's someone else with me. So I think that sense of understanding that no one has it easy any way or the other, for me that drives me.
Yeah.
No, she's absolutely right, because even when I was 19, nobody was inspiring me. There were great actresses on camera, but it wasn't like, oh, I want to be like her. No, it's a very personal call and a personal decision, and that's what takes you on a long journey.
True. And Sumeet, I would wrap up by asking you this, that take the last 3 projects only. Like, you have had the privilege of working into 3 different characters. Like, the mediums are also different. One is a film, 2 are series. When you see that kind of balance that is coming out in different kind of professions, in different kind of mediums right now in your life, how do you see this phase, and how does it kind of motivates you further in kind of trying maybe new things or different things in future?
I mean, thankfully, I'm at a phase where opportunities come my way, because I've also seen a large part of my life where I had to seek those opportunities. They weren't coming my way. So firstly, I feel grateful that you're in a situation where you're, contemplating between, should I do this or that? That's supposed to be a good phase. And then learning from my mistakes, mostly, because when somebody has not had opportunities, they tend to make brash decisions at times and take up work for frivolous reasons. And then, that comes out and you're like, but why did I do this? Not to take away from the work that came out, but just, what was in it for me? Did I grow as a person or as an artist, or, and that's extremely important for me. So in the last few years, I went back to my roots, because back in the day when I used to do theater very, very regularly, I would never think of how big my role was. I was always seeking directors because I wanted to work with different people, because every director had their own approach to doing things. Like some were very physical, like I worked with Atul Kumar. He had this whole thing about clowning, and, he was an expert in that. And so every time the idea was to work with people wherein I get to be in a different situation and learn from them. And I was like, I got to bring that model here, now that I'm here, and try and work with different kind of people, different roles, so that, there's something in it for me, because I have no control over how these projects are going to shape up. Are they going to be good? Are they going to be successful? I don't know. Nobody knows, to be very honest. But what I do know is that, did I have a good time? Did I make the right choice? Did I choose the people I was wanting to work with, because that's the memory I'm going to take to my grave.
Thank you for giving me this opportunity. It was a pleasure getting to know a little bit more, all of you. Wishing all 3 of you lots of love and luck for Jaanbaaz and everything that you do in future. And I had a great time talking to all 3 of you. Hope you guys had a good time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Very sweet.
Really nice.
Thank you so much.
Hi guys, this is Regina, Cassandra.
Hi, this is Sumeet Vyas.
Hello, this is Mita Vasisht. You're watching us on Bollywood Bubble, and please like, share and subscribe.
And watch our show Jaanbaaz Hindustan Ke on Z5, releasing on the 26th of January.